This podcast is produced by the Harwood Productions Podcast Network. To learn more about the network and to find more of our shows, visit us online at www.harwoodpodcast.com.
To find out how you can help kickstart our latest show live from Base 6, visit our website and click on the Kickstarter icon. Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and in this episode I'm going to show you how to make these great little lemon Madeleine cookies. Now, Madeleines are a cookie that comes from France, and they're always made in these beautiful little shell molds. Now, to get started, we're going to get some flour and baking powder mixed together. Now, normally I just whisk my flour and any other dry ingredients together in a bowl, but because Madeleines are such a light, airy cookie is what they are, I'm going to go ahead and sift my ingredients. So I've got 3/4 of a cup of flour, I've got a small bowl, and then I have one of these little strainers, and I'm going to go ahead and put my flour in there, and then I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. And what I'm just going to do is take this and I'm going to sort of tap it like this. And what that's going to do is really lighten up that flour and that baking powder together. Now I'm going to go ahead and get 2 eggs cracked. Now, for all my cooking students around the world, and I have a new one today, Annie from Sonora, Mexico. Annie, when you're going to be cracking eggs, make sure that you crack the egg into a small bowl first, like this, then place it into your larger bowl. Sometimes when we're cracking eggs directly into our mixer, if there's any shell or anything, that can be a real problem. That happened to me before in the past. That's when I always started cracking my eggs into a small bowl first, then transferring them over. Now, over here at the mixer, I'm going to go ahead and put my 2 eggs in, and to that I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of sugar. Now I'm going to go ahead, I've got my whisk attachment on, and I'm going to go ahead and lower the mixer, and I'm going to let this mix up for about 4 minutes. I really want these eggs to be light and fluffy. Now, while my eggs are whisking up, I'm going to go ahead and get the zest off of 1 lemon. And I like to use a microplaner, which is a really, really fine grater. And what I do is I take the microplaner and I run it across the top of the lemon, just like this. Now, this is a really great technique to learn because a lot of times people do the microplaner and they turn it upside down and they grate it like this. But if you hold it up and drag it across the fruit, for one thing, you're only getting just that very little bit of yellow lemon skin. If you go much further down and you get to this white part, the pith, it gets very bitter, so you don't want to do that. So if you just lightly drag it across the top, you collect all this great lemon zest, and it collects right here, and it makes it really easy to transfer into your mixing bowl. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my lemon zest, a pinch of salt, and 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And then I'm just going to put the mixer on until that gets nicely combined. That's about it. Now I've taken my eggs off of the mixer, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take our flour mixture and I'm going to pour that right inside. Now we're going to go ahead and fold this mixture in. Now, when you're folding, you need to use a spatula, and folding is supposed to be very, very gentle. So as you can see, I'm just kind of running my spatula along the bottom, and then I come to the center and let this flip over. It's not really a stirring because we don't want to deflate our eggs. It's just kind of running your spatula along the bottom and then just letting it sort of fall over on itself. And you just keep doing that nice and gently, and then pretty soon your flour gets nicely mixed in. So see, that's looking pretty good. Now I'm going to take 5 tablespoons of butter that I have melted, and I'm going to go ahead and put that into this mixture, and I'm now going to fold that in. And I'm just going to keep folding until it looks to me like that butter is all the way mixed in. Now that's looking really good. So now that we have our Madeleine batter all put together, you'd think we could just go right ahead and bake them off, but we can't. What we have to do for this batter is we have to let it rest in the refrigerator actually for 3 or more hours. So what you want to do is get a piece of plastic wrap, but instead of putting it on top of the bowl like this, we're going to take the plastic wrap and we're actually going to put it down inside the bowl so that it's actually touching the top of the batter. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my batter in the refrigerator for about 3 hours. Now if I didn't have time to bake these off today, I could make the batter and I could let it sit in the refrigerator for up to 2 days and then bake it off. So that's kind of nice. If you didn't have time today, you could bake these off tomorrow. Well, my batter's been in the refrigerator for about 3 hours. So what I need to do now is get my little Madeleine pans ready. Now this is a non-stick pan, but we do need to prepare it just a little bit so that we can get these Madeleines out easily. Now what I've done is I have 2 teaspoons of melted butter. And then I'm going to put in 1 teaspoon of flour, and I'm going to mix these up to make almost like a paste. So I'm going to use my pastry brush and I'm going to dip it into this paste, and I'm just going to brush the inside of the mold as well as the outer rim. So I'm going to go ahead and take the plastic wrap off the top of my batter, and you can see it still has a lot of really nice air bubbles in it. Now to get our batter into our Madeleine molds, I'm going to use 2 tablespoons, and I'm just going to get a nice rounded tablespoon of the batter, and I'm going to use the 2nd tablespoon to kind of scoop it in. So you can see I just take the 2nd spoon, kind of push it off of the 1st spoon, and then I just sort of dab it into the mold. I want to make sure that I have enough batter to practically fill the mold. It doesn't need to be smooth because this will flatten out as it bakes. But you can see a nice heaping tablespoon just is perfect for this well. Now I've preheated my oven to 400 degrees, which is kind of hot for a cookie, but for these little guys it's just perfect. And they're only going to take about 10 minutes to bake. Now here they are right out of the oven. They're nice and golden, and when I touch them they kind of spring back like this. But we have to get these out of the pan right away. So what I have down here is a tea towel, and what I'm going to take is with my oven mitts on, I'm going to wrap this on the counter like this so that they kind of loosen up and they should pop out just like that. That's why it's so important that we do that little flour and butter paste on our molds. Now I want to show you this little hump here is really classic in French Madeleine cookies, and that's why we let this dough sit in the refrigerator and develop so that we get that little hump. And then look at how beautiful that little scallop mold makes these cookies. Now I'm going to go ahead and put these right on a cooling rack to let them start to cool down. Now once the Madeleines are nice and cool, I like to go ahead and dust them with a little bit of powdered sugar. Well, if you'd like to give these lemon Madeleines a try at home, just go to our website and go to the cookie jar show notes, and I'll have the recipe there for you. And as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to send me an email. I'll see you next time.